Good morning. Today we are reviewing our unit with our perimeters and areas and circumferences and all that good stuff. So we are going to review because our test is next week. So there are definitions we want to make sure to put on our help sheet. Mr. Schultz likes to throw out those questions saying, oh, what is this and what is that? And you need to know the definitions. So definitions you want to write out on the help sheet. So perimeter is the distance around a figure. Oh my, we are not calibrated. Let me calibrate really quick. If this goes better. So the perimeter is the distance around a figure. The area is the number of squares needed to cover a figure. So that perimeter would be if we want a fence to go around our garden. The area would be how much dirt do we need to fill in our garden. Right? Perimeter is going around with the fence. Area is filling in with the dirt. The rectangle has 4 straight sides. And 4 right angles. The square is super close to that, but it is 4 equal straight sides and 4 right angles. So a square is a type of rectangle. It is a special type because the sides are all the same length. But because the square is a rectangle, we find the perimeter and the area the same way. So perimeter of a rectangle is square would be the length plus the length plus the width plus the width. Formula for a rectangle or square. So that area of a rectangle or square would be length times the width. So I would put that on your help sheet. Perimeter, length plus width plus width. Area, length times width. So you remember what you're doing. You might say, oh yeah, I know how to do this. But when it comes time for the test, and we have all these different formulas we're trying to remember, it's really good to just have it down just in case. So you should have your definitions. You should have your 2 formulas. And this is all straight from your binder, so if you didn't get it all written out, you should be able to go back to it to finish it up. Now we have the parallelogram. We already wrote out our definition for area, so we know that. The parallelogram is a quadrilateral, so we know it's 4-sided. With 2 pairs of parallel lines. Remember, the formula for the area of the parallelogram is the base times the height. I would put a little note saying height. You could say perpendicular. Some of us might forget what that means, but height makes a right angle. No slants. No slant lines. Remember, we cross off our slant lines, no slanties. Cross off the slant lines, that is not your height. Your height goes straight up and down, making that right angle. Even if it's not marked, it's the one that goes straight up and down. It's really important, because I am telling you right now, I'm repeating it over and over and stressing it, because every year I have kids that use the slant as their height. Don't do that. Don't fall for it. Cross off the slanty line when you're looking for your height. Cross it off so you don't use it. No slanty lines. Big to remember. Any questions on our parallelogram? I told you you just. All right, next objective. PO 68. Now we have the triangle and the trapezoid. So we've worked with triangles before. Triangle is a three-sided figure. Let me spell it correctly. And the formula for the area is 1/2 of the base times the height. So remember, the height no slanty lines. No slants. So if our triangle comes, our tip of our triangle comes out past it, we have to extend that base to make that right angle to be able to go up. So always, always, always with the right angle is the height, just like with our parallelogram. Lila.
Is there another one that we could do?
Not that I wrote down. What are you thinking?
I don't know another one.
Okay, sometimes people will look at it. I don't think I told you about this, but you could do base times height divided by 2. Either, they mean the same thing. So if you do 1/2 of the base times the height, or you do base times height divided by 2, you are halving it. So you could write it either way. It means the same. Now our trapezoid, instead of being a three-sided figure, it's that quadrilateral. So it has 4 sides, but it's not a parallelogram, so it only has 1 pair of parallel lines. Remember the formula for that trapezoid. This one you could say 1/2 of base 1 plus base 2 times the height. Or we could put that base 1 plus base 2 on top, divide it by 2, and then multiply it by the height. So remember that trapezoid, our 2 bases are those parallel lines. So this would be base 1, this would be base 2, and the height makes that right angle. Again, no slanty lines. You will get measurements for those slants. Do not fall for it. We only use that to find perimeters. The height for the area is always perpendicular, straight up and down. Don't fall for the slanty lines. You can put a trapezoid and label it. That is not an example. You're not using numbers. So you can label a trapezoid so you remember what base 1, base 2, and the height looks like. So you can put that on your help sheet as long as you don't put numbers and put an example of how to find it. But you can put the picture of it. That's okay. Any questions on the triangle or trapezoid? Okay. Again, Because I have students fall for it every year. Put an asterisk, no slanty sides for height. Don't fall for it. All right, our next objective. Now we're on to the circles. So circumference is the distance around the circle. It is like a perimeter, but because we don't have straight lines, we can't say length plus width because there are no lines, so we have to use our formula with that diameter or radius. Remember, as a circle, there's that set of all points that are the same distance. That's in your binder. I'm not going to write it all out. But remember, the radius is the R. That's from the center to the outside. Diameter is the D. That is from side to side, all the way across. So you need to remember what the radius is, that's halfway. Diameter is the whole way. The formula, if you're given the radius, you would do 2 times pi times r. If you're given the diameter, you would just do pi times the diameter. Because the diameter is 2 radiuses put together. So pi 2r or pi times diameter. You can draw a circle and label it so you remember which one looks like the diameter and which one looks like the radius. You cannot put numbers on it. So you have to remember which one you're given, which formula to use. Remember that rounding. If you have been one that when we've been correcting, you've noticed you've made mistakes, put a note on there. Rounding 0 to 4 stays the same. 5 to 9, round up. So if you know, you know you. You know in your homework if you've been messing up on your rounding. You know it. Put a note on there to help you catch that on the test. So 0 to 4, that 100th place stays the same if it's followed by a 0, 4. If it's followed by a 5 to the 9, you round up 1. Any questions on the circumference? Our next objective was the area. So PO 70 is the area. So we know the definition of the area, we know the definition of the circle. So the formula for an area of the circle is pi r squared. So remember that squared means it's the radius times the radius. What number do we use if we're using one of my simple calculators in the back? What number should we use? Emma?
3.14.
So if you're one of my friends who is using that, you can put pi equals 3.14. If you have your calculator with the pi button that you use, you don't have to write it, right? Because you've got the calculator. But if you're using one of mine, put a note to yourself. If you're one of my friends who forgets what squared means, and you do 9 times 2 instead of 9 times 9, you can give yourself a note. R squared equals R times R. No numbers, but you can put that note on there as a reminder. If you are given your diameter, break your diameter in half to get the radius. Right, so 12 goes all the way across, the radius would be 6. Because it's 6 plus 6 equals 12. So if you are one that needs it, you could say if you're given the diameter, let's do it this way. The radius equals the diameter divided by 2. So if you're given the diameter, divide it by 2 for your radius. You can put that note on there. Any questions about our circle area? Our last one is what we just corrected today with our shapes. Write them out on your help sheet. Give me the names. Cube is how many faces, edges, and vertices. Rectangular prism, faces, edges, vertices. Triangular prism, write them all out. All 7 of those shapes you're going to write out on your help sheet. All 7. And then you can look at what, let me see if I have it. I don't have the review page in my binder to go over what we need to review for that Math 6 review. You can look at your practice work, see what you're going to need to review for that for next week. You can put that on your help sheet. Any questions? Okay, so tomorrow is going to be a retake day. So make sure you get practice works turned in so I can get those corrected so we can get right to the retakes. I have my pile of retakes from last week. There are a few of us. I'm going to go over some stuff with you to fix up. And then next week, we're going to start off Monday with our practice test. So Monday is the practice test. Tuesday is the real test. I don't want to do the practice test tomorrow, real test on Monday, because I don't like testing on Mondays. So we reviewed today, but that practice test will be Monday. Any questions at all? All right, if you're watching this at home, I hope you are well, and I hope to see you soon. Have a wonderful day.